there's something about just inviting people to share experiences, have conversations, and just make it normal.
It's something that I volunteered to do. I went looking for it.
Sometimes I think as clinicians and researchers, we forget that our, both the background knowledge as well as the day-to-day work, some things which are kind of obvious to us, we forget that to some extent that this is not the obvious, as much as obvious to patients and people who are not coming from the field.
Is it important that the hospital is close to you, for instance? Is it more about the procedure or about the data that you might have concerns with?
This man I've lived with for years suddenly had a new personality. This laid-back, jokey person who played practical jokes suddenly become the most intense person in the world.
And we know from some of the pancreatic cancer UK research is that very few people know where the pancreas is, what symptoms to look out for. And there's obviously a role there for providing information, whatever ways that might be. Conversely, there's concern about providing information without effective ways of dealing with concerned individuals with symptoms. So we're talking about non-specific symptoms which probably affect the majority of the population at some stage. So it's a real dilemma about how to deal with that, but I'm sure there's a way forward for it. And unfortunately, pancreatic cancer has been a little bit left behind the other cancers in terms of being promoted to try and inform people about what to look out for, where to look and things like that.
What stage the disease is at and what the research subject is, and impact on quality of life. If time is short, perhaps people might altruistically want to take part in research studies, but actually, is that most effective use of whatever time they've got left, if that makes sense?
I believe computers can play an important role here by assisting clinicians make decisions. Our computer can tell us that this patient has a high risk to develop pancreatic cancer in the future. But the problem with this methodology is that if we do not have images of pancreas as input, we will never be able to predict the risk of cancer. And that is why, for me, it's so important to record and save images of pancreas at the very, very early stage, because then we can train computers to predict the future.
Initially, no. There's lots of acronyms and clinical and medical terms that perhaps you don't understand, but having been involved in many pieces of research, then you become acclimatized to it. So initially no, but yes, over time with experience.
I think that's a very interesting point about the echo chamber. Struggling to reach people who don't already have a lot of knowledge on the subject.
Exactly the things that we try to get from this conversation here to kind of see what sort of things matter to you patients and carers and people who would potentially want to participate in the study to help us. So thank you.
Kind of trade-off in terms of quality of life and altruism and research.